That was fun. Welcome to Curiosity Public. My name's Dutch.
My name is Jules.
Dylan.
And welcome to another episode of our Ultimate Spirits Competition, our quest to review every sipping spirit on the face of the planet and subject it to our 100-point scoring system, the same scoring system we use for every single spirit that we review. Unbiased opinions. We buy the bottles. You get to watch the videos. We get to score them. And let's do this one, guys. This is Lagavulin 12-year, wait for it, cask strength.
Whoa.
Ba-bing. Yeah, so, I mean, we reviewed Lagavulin 16. I thought it was on our leaderboard, but it's not.
It's not?
It might have been at one point in time.
Yeah.
But,
It got pushed out.
It's a great
Part of the competition.
scotch. Great scotch. If you guys want to get a cool scotch shirt.
It's not this
It's
one.
not that one, but we do have a cool one called Scotch Trek. Check it out in the link below. But anyway, let's talk Lagavulin, guys. Ron Swanson is a big Lagavulin guy. We like Ron Swanson. We like Lagavulin in general. But let's see if we like this one. I haven't had it. Have you guys had this?
Yes.
First time.
Yes.
Dylan has, because this is his bottle.
Right.
Let's take a look at the box. Cool box. You think it's a cool box? It's a pretty cool box. It says 12.
It's Lagavulin.
It says cask strength, natural cask strength. Let's get it out of the box.
Oh, it doesn't have the logo on top, though.
The proof point is, the percentage is 57.8.
Ooh.
The traditional Lagavulin bottle. Looks very similar in a lot of ways. A little bit of different accoutrement there. 12 years old, limited release. This is the 2018 bottling. It is an islay whiskey or islay, depending on if you're an American or a Scot. There's the back of the bottle. If it comes into focus, there we go. I mean, the bottle looks, in that camera there, where it's probably a little bit blurry, it looks exactly like the other bottle, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. Just slap on a different number.
But, higher proof, a little bit lower age statement than the very kind of popular 16-year-old, a little bit higher age statement than the Nick Offerman. We mentioned Ron Swanson earlier, but that's Nick Offerman.
Year.
Yeah. Huge price difference.
Huge price difference. So what is our price point? I don't know.
Retails for $150.
Whoa, that's not that
Well,
bad.
that's kind of
That's
similar
like
to
20
what the
bucks,
16.
$30 difference.
No,
yeah.
it's not.
Yeah, it is.
I get it at Costco for like $65.
You can find a 16.
I used to get it for $50. Now it's like $65.
Yeah, but you will commonly
after
see...
you buy 200
Yeah, you can get it for about $99. Okay,
Yeah, $100
fine.
bucks.
Lagavulin 16, $99. This is $150.
I think some people pay over 100 for the
120, yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes. So, okay, yes, it is higher. I don't know much about this. I'm going to crack it open. Dylan's going to tell you everything you need to know about this bottle.
Lagavulin is extremely famous. One of the most famous distilleries or brand in the world, right? They're famous because of the peat, the islay peat, right? It is natural cask strength, matured in refill American oak casks. It's a non-chill filtered, natural color. Lagavulin means hollow of the mill in Scottish Gaelic, which is different from Irish Gaelic, right?
Oh.
As our friends have pointed out on either side. So I'm excited that you guys are trying this finally. This is, I'll tell you where it stands in amongst all the scotches that I drink. But I'll tell you later. But
okay. Well, the one thing I'll point out is we let this open up for a minute.
Look at the color, though.
The color is extremely light.
Look how light that is.
Refill barrels, you mentioned that, but that is very light. I think
That's
definitely
light. That's like...
Definitely lighter than the 16, you would say, right?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
For sure. It's
like tequila.
A slight... Yeah,
it does look like a reposado tequila.
but you can smell the aroma, right?
Oh, yeah.
Well, and I
don't even need to bring it up.
I appreciate this because just by looking at it, I can tell with a decent degree of certainty that there's no additives. There's no added coloring to this.
Right. Which I love.
I love that, too.
Just leave it like this, please. You do not have
There's
to
no
color
need.
it. There's no need.
The legs, too, I was watching it kind of trickle down as I swirled. Look at that.
Amazing, right?
That is really... I don't know if it's picking up particularly well, but that looks really
To the aroma?
Yeah. We got to score this.
Unreal.
We got to score.
We're like mesmerized, but we got to score.
But hang on, guys. We got Cask strength Scotch, 11 years old, or 15 years old. What is this? 12 years old. We should let it sit for a second. True. I mean, we should give it the respect, let it open up a little bit.
Oh, it's been respected.
I will also say that there is some poetry on here, or some quotations on the bottle. I'm not going to recite them. You're going to have to get a bottle to recite them to yourselves. Jules, you're the flair man. What is your take on the bottle?
Looks like Lagavulin. What do you mean?
But if you hadn't had Lagavulin, what would you say?
Oh. If I had not.
First impressions with Jules.
But you're making me describe the bottle.
Yeah, what's your first impression of the bottle? We've never had Lagavulin before.
I don't know. I can't seem to disassociate the fact that I have.
Not bad?
It's okay.
Okay, there you go. That's all I wanted. I wanted the first impression.
I want to say.
Is this the bottle description?
Well, you need to ask me.
Dylan, what's your impression of the bottle?
Okay, so my impression is this is very distinct because you can see that this bottle is Lagavulin, no matter what.
I agree with you on that.
It doesn't matter where you are.
But you would know that it's the Cask strength.
But you can go to an airport and you're walking across the terminals and you can see in the bar like, oh, that's one of the Lagavulin. I don't know which one it is.
You're not going to see it because
get
it's going to
closer.
be in the box still.
Well, you get closer and closer and you go, oh, that's a 12 Cask strength. You'll never see that.
All right, guys.
No, you can't even see this. Dude, look how small that font is.
Guys, let's dig into this. Let's start it off with a toast. Name your favorite Sean Connery movie.
Hunt for
October. Okay, yeah.
I beat you all.
Yeah, you did. You kind of. All right, let's taste. This is a little bit tricky to score.
Mm-hmm.
All I ask is that you do a second take.
I don't start till my second taste.
Yeah, exactly.
You would be an idiot to do otherwise. I know who does it on their first take.
I really like this color.
I do too. I really do.
I just really love it.
I don't understand the caramel color.
Yeah, I don't understand it either.
This
Why?
tastes the way it looks to me. And,
it is,
I
right?
don't get it.
I can't wait to hear why. Because I think we're on the same page.
Ralphie says you should let it sit
Really breathe.
for a minute for every year of age.
Yeah.
That's a little too fussy for me.
No, is that a freshly opened bottle? Or is this...
Every time.
I think every time.
Yeah.
Every time he pours it. I will say, we do let it open up. But, if you're judging the product, you judging the product after a specific amount of time or just...
Well, I mean, it's an arbitrary time.
It's an arbitrary thing. We have to...
I'm going to say you need to give it 2 minutes and 22 seconds for every year and 2 months that it has been aged.
I got nothing to that.
I started ignoring him a long time ago.
Score it again.
That was well played.
Yeah. He's like, I don't want him to see mine, man.
I'm ready to go. I am ready to go.
I think I'm ready.
We need to fight about this.
We've had some time to taste. We've had some time. All right, we've had some time to taste. We've had some time to score. Let's reveal our scores to each other for the first time. Then we're going to have a debate and discuss every single scoring category. And then we're going to get our final scores and give you guys our final accounting of this one. I gave this, don't punch me, 77.
Okay.
I gave this 69.
You orchestrated that.
I gave it an 83.
Wow, we got a big spread.
This is a big range.
Yeah, we really have to talk about
spread.
this.
We really got to talk this through. Let's kick off our discussion with Aroma. Obviously a lot of peat. I got a nice subtle grapefruit component coming through. I gave it a 7. It was good. I didn't get much more than that, though. The peat kind of overwhelmed the other flavor categories for me.
This was a good experience, actually, for me. I give it an 8 out of 10. And I felt like I was at a bonfire. Like, I was getting, like, sea salt in the air, but then I got like, the smokiness kind of thing. And then some sweetness, which reminded me of, like, black licorice for whatever reason. But, yeah, this was a pleasant aroma.
This is frustrating. This is frustrating.
What'd you give it?
I gave it a 9. and the reason why this
Totally
is
tracks. 7, 8, 9. It makes perfect sense.
So the reason why it is a 9 is because people might get confused why you have a Lagavulin 16-year that is much cheaper than a 12-year. Now the strength, obviously the alcohol content is different, but I do think that you're paying for something more than that. I think what you see in a lot of these peated, especially Islay, when it's younger but cask, is that for some reason the peat is not as overwhelming as the older aged ones in some instances. I know in some cases the peat mellows out even a little bit more. Others, it's the reverse. In this case, what I love about this one is that unlike the 16-year, or even the 18 or the 20-year, or even the Distiller's edition, I say that the fruit component really pops. It really pops, and it is balanced in such a way that is so unique and refreshing. It feels like I am drinking a smoky fruit juice. And I just love that aroma. And this is really a treat for me. When I actually, full disclosure, I reach for this over 16 in some cases because I like to have a little bit more fruit sometimes than the peat. And I love that component. That's why I gave it a 9. It's not a perfect because I think the age, there are other things that are added with age. And so the 12 kind of holds it back a little bit, but this is a phenomenal nose. This is a phenomenal nose.
I thought he was never going to stop. Anyway, let's move on to flavor. I enjoyed the flavor on this a lot. A lot of that fruit, that grape, like a white grape, a clear grape juice coming through. I almost got like it was almost like egg. Like a egg yolk, an egg white, like a cooked egg white. The way that smells, like added in underneath all of the other stuff. I mean, that's probably a component of the peat. I enjoyed it. 18.
18. I agree with you. I like that description.
Hang on, let's get Jules' score real quick first.
17.
Okay, so
that's not bad. Yeah. So I agree with you 100%. I think the way I interpret the egg was, it's a lot more of the life cycle of a fruit. So it's almost like.
But I think it was more like the fruit plus the peat made that kind of earthy.
But would you agree that the
animal smell?
Would you agree that the peat character in this is distinct? It's different than what you would get from the typical release of Lagavulin 16, right?
Completely agree.
I mean, this is what I like about this. Yeah. This is so unique. I think if you drink it back to back, I think you'll know, much better.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I think for me, the big takeaway is that what I appreciate with the peat, what the peat's doing here is it's accentuating things versus like integrated into everything. And that's what was,
it accentuates the sweetness.
The sweetness, and like
earthiness.
The earthiness, and it, versus like with and it might be kind of punchy because of that, but I don't know, it's working really well for me. So
yeah, worked well. Let's move on to body. Ultimately, this it did hit my palate just a little bit thin, but still very nice. 7.
I give it an 8.
We're not far off.
No.
I think
I like it. I really. It's not one of the best.
Not one of the best.
For sure.
Definitely not one of the worst.
But I really like that mouthfeel.
Well above average.
Yeah.
It's 7, 8.
It's oily. Sense. It's nice. Cooks it really well. Yeah.
Let's move on to complexity. A lot going on here. Any way you shake it, an 8 for me.
I give it an 8.
7.
I give it an 8.
Well, again, we're pretty close. We're tracking pretty well. I mean, there's a lot of components here. That's what I liked about it. I mean, gosh, such a distinct. I mean, like if I've ever tasted white grape in a whiskey, that's in here. That smokiness, that peatiness comes through. It kind of, like you said, it accentuates that. There's some earthiness in there. There's a lot of components coming in together that I think make it a really nice dram. Moving on to balance. A tick off of complexity for me, a 7.
Yeah, same thing. Tick off for me, give it a 6. And I couldn't tell because, so while I mentioned earlier that the peat is like accentuating things, sometimes it did override it in a lot of scenarios.
That's exactly
that's
what
why it didn't feel as balanced as it could.
That tick was because the peat was it was stronger than all the other components.
Yeah,
and a little bit too much.
I disagree. I really disagree. I think this is one of those unique releases. I gave it an 8. I think this is one of those unique releases at cask strength that performs really well. I think this is one of those things where a cask Islay, if you compare it with the other offerings, the balance between the peat, the smokiness versus the fruit, the bright fruits, the sweetness, it really pairs really well. I can understand the...
So, would you say versus a Lafroig?
Well, I mean, the Lafroig cask, are you talking about the cask strength?
Well, I'd say
I think it has its own character, and I would say it goes head-to-head with that.
Well, speaking of which, we should point out for our members, and if you want to become a member of Curiosity Private, hit that join button down below. I think we're going to do that exact head-to-head between this and the Lafroig cask. So if you want to see that again,
subscribe.
Let me just...
Join.
Oh, join.
Yeah, you interrupted me with that thing, but...
I think we should interrupt you again.
I just wanted to just say, I wanted to say that the reason why it's not perfect, though, is that I feel like it pairs well, but it doesn't mesh.
Agreed.
Okay, so I like the pairing, but it's not like integrated into the flavor profile.
I agree.
I don't know. It's not as balanced to me, just because the peat is making like the saltiness like stick out more than like the fruit.
I don't know. I mean, it just sounds like you don't like Islay.
That's why I'm between the two of you. Let's talk about the finish. I ended up at a 7.
I ended up at a 6.
I had a 7 and I bumped it up to an 8.
It was a lot of peat on the finish. I lost the fruit on the finish. I lost a little bit of the subtlety. If more of that had come through, I could see where your 8 is coming from, but it was a little bit one note on the finish.
I'm
good, enjoyable. It was long and it lasted, but it was just the peatiness really overwhelming it.
Yeah, I'm the same as you. I mean, it does linger, but unfortunately, it goes towards one-dimensional.
Okay,
so.
I don't know, but I would say just for as long as it lingers, that it's worth a 7. Period.
I want to challenge you here. This is a higher proof whiskey, okay? And just isolate the finish alone. There's no harshness.
I agree.
It is smooth. It's getting to that. It's not like true velvet, but it is very, very soft. It's well rounded. You get the peat. You still get the sweetness. I think your score is a little too
trails off.
No, I think you're only looking at the length, and I would agree with you to a certain degree, and I don't think that's why it can't get like the 9s and 10s. But I think what I love about this is for a 12-year... Think about the 12-year scotches. There's a harshness that you always expect. At a 12-year, even a regular release, 40%.
Rating the finish in a vacuum. I still think it's a 7.
40%, 40 to 43% scotch.
You admitted you had a 7 before. Why are you arguing with me? You're arguing with Jules, so...
I think it deserves the 8, so...
Fair enough. Let's move on to... Uniqueness. 12-year-old cask strength Islay whiskey. It's an 8. If it was elevated slightly on the palate for me, I would have gone higher, but 8. I feel very comfortable with an 8.
Similar note to you. I give it a 7 out of 10. Similar notes to you that if the palate... Oh,
really?
All right.
What else?
Was a little bit elevated.
Now I'm the one making that. What else?
I don't know. That's why. It's just like, first of all, like it's not a distinct bottle, that you can distinguish between the 16
you can factor
and 12.
in the bottle
so you can
a little
those
bit,
kind of
but
things.
let's talk about the majority. Should be the
flavor. I mean, I'm getting the familiar peat, but and I'm getting that sea breeze experience, which is different. But
I don't know. This hit me distinctly from some of the other peaty expressions we've tried. Some of the Ardbeg's blanking here. It was refreshing almost. And I think that was the experience was unique to me of tasting this. I really thought it stood out in a lot of ways.
Interesting.
So the problem here is that I have to take into account all the releases that are with peat. And there are a lot. If you want to talk about just traditional releases from the actual distillery themselves, it's actually a lot, right? I mean, there's like the peat specific releases, even from like what you would consider like Speyside distilleries. They're coming out with like peat versions of it and things like that, and there's uniqueness there. And then on top of that, because I really enjoy like the independent bottlers, because the reason is they come out with just cask strength, straight, no frills. You get it directly from the barrel. This is what it is. This is my release. I have to take that into account.
Let me ask you a very direct question. Do you think I should go down a point?
I'm actually tempted to go
You know
up.
what? I think you should balance that. I think your score is a balance, because I think for most people who do not have access to independent bottlers, who do not have access to distillery only releases, who do not have access to like the specific
That's who we want to
limited
speak to in a lot of ways.
right,
I mean,
limited edition
to the general market. I do think this
right, like
this is,
this
is a big bottler. This is in a lot of stores. I do think this stands out from the pack.
right. So they do have all those
Tempting.
various types, like the quarter cask.
I'm gonna stick with my 8. What are you guys gonna do?
I think I'm gonna still stick to my 7. Mostly because I'm also reminded of price. And I don't know.
Yeah, it's a different category, man.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, 7.
All right, let's move on to drinkability. Nobody heard that.
Are you afraid to reveal your score?
Despite everything I said about this,
Yeah.
I really love drinking this. It's a 9.
Nice. I give it a 7.
I give it a 10.
Okay.
I mean, I still need to.
I give it a 9, but I understand.
I love it. I love it. I love this.
There's an intangible thing here that it's just. I think it's because there is that distinct fruit and the distinct peat, and the finish is so nice, and the nose is easy to pick up flavors on. It's just something about it that makes it more drinkable than a lot of other peated scotches.
Hand me that cigar, seriously.
That's another good point. Yeah.
I mean, seriously, give me a ribeye, give me a porterhouse. I mean,
It's so drinkable. It's because it's refreshing.
It's
almost refreshing.
Yeah, it's almost like juice in some ways, right?
What is juice?
I love it. It's so good. It's so good.
Jules.
10 out of 10. I can drink
really?
this.
A 7.
I can drink this all.
Come on,
day.
you look at how much you drank. You never finished your glass. Let me give you a refill and see what you change your score to.
I think the problem is, and I guess maybe because I'm just crossing a lot of the categories together. Like the price point sticks out to me.
No,
That's
And
that's
it's like, I
nothing
don't
to
know
do
if I
with
keep
drinkability.
continuing to drink. I know, I get you're right. You guys
This
are
bottle's
absolutely
sitting right in front of
in
you.
the vacuum.
You're watching a basketball
This is the only thing,
game.
and I'm not paying for it.
You're watching a
even though I
basketball game. You're gonna
pay
keep
for
pouring
this
it.
one.
You're gonna keep pouring
You're
this.
right. You guys are right. I'll come up. I'll come up because that's actually. I'm just admitting, like that's what was in my mind when I originally scored that. So
Fair enough. All right. Well, I'll shut up now.
I'll give it a 9.
You're going up 2 points.
2 points.
Cheers, dude.
Wow. Wow, I'll cheers to that.
Yo, cheers anyway.
All right, guys. Let's move on to aesthetics. 3.
3.
This is not average. This is a 4.
No.
This is average.
This is distinct.
They didn't try that hard.
They didn't try that hard.
They just
It
got
looks,
other
it looks,
bottles.
look on the screen.
I mean,
because
May I
Dutch
just
posed the
say,
question
though,
to me. I couldn't even really reply.
Look, may I just
like,
say though? Let me get my
doesn't
point
stand
across.
out.
Let me get my point across. Look,
and cut.
look. I recognize there's like the 8, the 11, there's the 12, there's the 16, right? You rarely see 18 anymore. You don't see 20.
I'm talking about the bottle, dude.
I know they're all the same bottles, but
That's not.
That's exactly it. They're all the same.
Wait. But
the same.
compared to all the other distillery releasings where there's like 20 different, 30 different ones, I think this is still
all
very
look
unique, and
the
I really
same.
like.
The category is
love the
aesthetics.
color.
It's not
I
a
love
bad
it. I just
bottle.
like
We've
it.
seen it 100
But
times.
We've seen it. And you couldn't really make 12 larger?
You couldn't point out that it's cask strength, maybe with an
Cask?
additional piece of
Bold
something
cask
right here.
something?
Okay, fine. You know what? I will go down to 3 because I actually like the Distiller's edition better because it's dark. Yeah.
There you go.
All right. Okay, if you have to convince yourself.
There you go. Let's move on to value. It is a steep price point, but I'm thinking Islay whiskey, cask strength, 12-year age statement. I still gave it a 3.
I gave it a 1. I mean, with all those components, that's great, but at the same time, it's like, I'm still going to go pay for a 16.
No.
If I don't already have it, if I don't own a bottle of Lagavulin, I'm not going for this first.
What did you give it?
I give it a 3.
Okay, so we agree on that.
And the reason why I gave it a 3 is because I will buy this again and again.
Yes, but you've already had the
He makes a point. Think about, you just said at the beginning of the show, you can get the 16 for $75.
Yeah, that low, even though I haven't seen that low.
You're really going to keep grabbing this over that?
I will always have this on my shelf.
Right, but if they're side by side...
That's why it's not a 4.
Hang on, they're side by side, you're going to a party. Which one are you going to grab?
You're going to get the 16.
For other people?
Doesn't matter. You're spending money and you're looking at it.
You're going to bring the 16. Them. That is the go-to.
I'm kind of no. I think 16 is a 4 and a 5.
Oh yeah.
Okay. This is a 3. This is a 3. It is not a 2.
I mean, it is pretty high proof. I will give you that too. 57.
Yes, you are paying for this cask strength.
I'm okay with my 3. I think you are a little low. I think it's at least a 2.
I don't think this is not a bargain.
I could see his argument to go down to a 2, but I don't see it as a 1.
This is not a I don't think it's a 1. This is not a bargain for sure, but it's also not like a ripoff. And I'm going to say
that's why it's a 3.
Yeah, that's why I gave it a 3.
We agree.
Yeah,
that's why he's out of line.
Yeah,
he's not going to change.
I'm not moving.
All right, guys. Let's get our final scores, but first, Jules, please tell everybody at home about our score. Or if you're not at home, maybe you're at work. Maybe you're on an airplane.
Maybe you're aeroplane.
Maybe you're
on a submarine.
Maybe you're on the space station. I don't know where you are.
So cool.
But Jules is going to tell you about our scoring system.
So we do have a 100-point grading system across 10 categories that include aroma, flavor, body, complexity, balance, finish, uniqueness, drinkability, aesthetics, and value. Now, most categories are equal to 10 points, as we discussed. Flavor, we weigh double at 20 points. Aesthetics and value are 5 points each. And you do get a medal in our spirits competition if you score 60 and above. Bronze, silver, gold to diamond. No medal at 59 and lower.
My final score was a 77.
Wow. Mine was at 71.
Wow. Okay. I give it an 82.
I had to double check because I did go up.
82.
Which gives us our official Curiosity Public Ultimate Spirits Competition score for Lagavulin 12-year cask strength 2018 release.
You want to make sure you're not holding the 16 instead?
Well, yeah, 2018 release. A very solid, rock solid silver 76.
Ooh, yeah, that's strong silver.
Very strong silver. I could have seen this. Well, hey, you know what? I gave it a 77. It's exactly.
Yeah, you're right. You're
right.
I
scored it. I'm comfortable with that.
I think if you like peat, you definitely have to have this on your show.
Agreed. If you're an Isla lover, if you're a Lagavulin lover,
it's such a different Lagavulin lover. Yeah, because it's such a different expression. You got to try it.
I think my score is about. I mean, like think about the uniqueness is where it kind of suffered a little bit for me. I just think about like the Ardbeg Anno or
Anoa. Anno.
He's got nothing.
I'm gonna loop this over and over and over.
He's got nothing.
How unique is it again?
Yeah. So there are definitely a lot of releases from Ardbeg. You got the peat bombs. You got the peat versions.
No, you're right.
Of a lot of distilleries. So.
It's more unique within the Lagavulin lineup, yes. I think, in some ways.
Yeah.
It's still excellent whiskey. There's nobody's gonna buy this and think, oh, this is crap.
So I know we're gonna do the head to head with Lefroy, but I wanted to ask if price was not the option or price is not a factor, Lagavulin 16 or this.
Good question, because I was just thinking to myself, if I did this blind with the 16, I might prefer this.
I don't know.
I think I would pick this out. You know why? Because it's so different. Of an expression.
I think I would pick the 16 because it's a little bit more intense. And when I want Lagavulin, I want that intense experience. I think that's what I would probably go for ultimately.
Interesting.
I picked this.
This is excellent, though. All right, guys. It's been a fun episode. Jules, please take us out.
Tell us what you guys think in the comments below. Give us a thumbs up if you like this episode.
Also subscribe.
Subscribe for more videos from Cross Republic. Hit that bell icon so you can get notifications when new videos are released. As Dutch mentioned before, please consider joining our Curiosity Private membership program. Really helps our channel out. And you do get early access to videos and unique content too, just for you. Check out our podcast on the major podcast platforms out there. We do have a t-shirt shop. You can check in the description. There's a link. And as always, stay safe, stay healthy.
Stay curious. But it says right here, 57.8% alcohol. That does stand out. That's what I mean. I feel like all they need is
Why can't they bold Cask?
Yeah, no, they need They need like a strip right here or something here.
You mean like the Centauri?
They need something.
Put a medallion.
Make it stand out.
Medallion. A part of me likes this too because if they just had this. Yeah, it's understated, and
I get that too.
Maybe people will just grab the 16 and they'll forget about this. So
the thing is, if it was too flashy, Ron Swanson would be like.
Yeah, but you know what? Sometimes this is sometimes hard to find.
I agree.
This is sometimes hard to find. I mean, I haven't seen it. I don't really see it on the shelf.
How do you think it's going to fare against the Lafroig? I am not a Lafroig aficionado, so
yeah, it's gonna be a weird comparison.
Isn't Lafroig even going to be more peaty?
I mean, so you know what I love about that comparison is there's like history behind it, like actual historical
fighting,
rivalry, and kind of intrigue between.
Hey, let's try it. And these people that are still watching this video, if they're not members, they need to become members to be able to see that.
Yeah,
right?
let's do it. Let's do it.
You grab glasses, I'll grab the bottle.
All right. Well, okay, you guys glass.
I'm going home.
Bottle, and I'll go rest.
You can have a nap. Nappy time.
Nappy nap.